We're here in the Pelican offices with author Julie Fontenot Landry. Hi Julie, how are you?
Just fine, thank you.
Thank you. And your mom, of course, was Mary Alice Fontenot, who is the author of the beloved Clovey's Crawfish series. Could you tell us a little bit about the series and how it got started?
Well, I think it started in my mother's kindergarten classroom back in the late 50s when a little boy brought a lizard to school in his pocket and scared the little girls. And so my mother began making up stories about little animals, and it just proceeded from there. She loved little creatures. She loved to work outside. She always had a beautiful flowers in the yard, and won the Yard of the Week from the garden club all the time. So she was intimately acquainted with little critters and observed their behavior and loved children, so she put the two together, and there we had Clovey's Crawfish.
Yeah, and Clovey's, of course, is the star of the series.
Absolutely.
But it's all about all of his little critter friends, animal friends on the bayou.
Each book introduces another friend or focuses on one of the friends to be the main character in the story.
Wonderful.
Such as this story introduces Lois Lizard, Lizette's twin sister, who had not appeared before in a Clovey's book.
And that is the most recent title in the series, and you were instrumental in getting it finished. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Right. When my mother wrote this, she was at the point in her life where she was too ill to type and was under a lot of medication. And she wanted to write this story, but she couldn't actually write it. So she would, jot down a few scribbles, and then she had a young woman whom she knew. She dictated it, and this girl typed it for her. And because of her physical condition, it just wasn't of the quality that people had come to expect from her work. So at first, I urged Pelican not to do anything with it, and everybody agreed. And then after her death, I began to think about it and thinking it was a story she wanted published. So one thing led to another, and it's now a book. I edited and finished the story and did the music and the little song and the pronunciation guide and all the other parts of a Clovey's story. So.
And before Clovey's and the Twin Sister, you were involved in the series as well.
Right, yes, I did a lot of the music for the books, the songs, and I also did the French translations. And then on the CDs, my husband and I did all the singing of the songs.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So we were involved, and then I'm on the French CDs reading the French stories. So I have had a lot of involvement with the series. I did some editing on the later titles as well.
Wonderful. And as we said, the stories have been around, got started quite a while ago. It's been around for a while, and our beloved...
50 years this year.
Wow. Beloved by many generations, particularly in southern Louisiana, I think.
Absolutely.
Because they depict the life on the bayou, which is good for the children to learn about the life cycles and about how the animals interact.
Right. But, if you learn about bayou animals, you also learn about animals everywhere. Because, for example, if you learn about one kind of lizard, you can very quickly move on to different other kinds of lizards and learn about, that category of animals in general. So I think the little books, in addition to being delightful, teach some wonderful science lessons, as well as the little moral lesson that's always included in the books.
Wonderful. And there's, as we mentioned, French versions of several of the titles, as well as some French words and phrases.
Right. Always. That's one thing my mother wanted to do. She wanted to introduce French to children. who may not have otherwise had the opportunity to learn it. And with the little pronunciation guide in the back, which is written not with phonetic symbols or anything like that, but simply phonetic spellings. Any child who has had phonics, and of course their parents who are trying to read to them, should be able to pronounce the words correctly in French.
Wonderful.
So,
well, thank you so much for taking some time to talk to us about the series, Julie.
It's been my pleasure.
Thank you.